But rent na rent. You owe me 3 months. If you no fit pay by next week, I go bring my boys come lock this place.
Vincent counted the money in his hand twice, and it still wasn't enough. 2,000 naira. That was all he had left in this world. His rent on his small barber shop was 3 months overdue, and he knew his landlord could come for him at any moment. This morning, thieves had come for the 3rd time in 4 months and carried away everything. Clippers, mirrors, chairs, even the small generator he used to power the shop when light took. He sat on the bare tiled floor of his small empty shop, staring at nothing. 4 months ago, Vincent borrowed money from a cooperative society to open Vinny's Cuts, a small unisex salon in Ijoke town. He had big dreams, 3 branches before he turned 30. He had trained for 2 years under a master barber, and when he finally opened, customers came in numbers. Business was sweet at first. There was one customer Vincent particularly remembered from those early days. His name was Barrister Uzondu, a quiet, well-dressed man who worked at one of the law offices in town. He had become a regular after Vincent gave him a haircut that he liked. One afternoon, while Vincent was trimming his beard, Barrister Uzondu watched him work and said, "You get sense for this business. You not just dey cut hair, you dey pay attention to people." Vincent laughed. "Na small thing, sir. I just want to make my customers happy." "That's not small," Barrister replied. "A lot of people have skills. Very few people have both skill and character." Before leaving that day, Barrister Uzondu saved Vincent's number on his phone. "Keep doing your work well," he said. "You never know who will recommend you one day." Vincent smiled and thanked him, thinking nothing more of it. He even sent money to his younger sister Chiamaka in her final year studying nursing. He promised to pay her final school fees himself no matter what. Then everything began to fall apart. The first robbery happened at night. Vincent woke up to meet his shop door broken, clippers and dryers gone. He used his small savings to restock. 2 months later, it happened again. This time, they carried the television and the cash box with the little money he had saved. He restocked again, borrowing extra from a friend, telling himself this was just a bad season that would pass. Then came the 3rd time. This time, they stripped the shop completely. Mirrors off the wall, chairs, the generator, even the extension boxes. Vincent walked in that morning and just stood there, unable to move, unable to think. Someone in the neighborhood said, "Na person we sabi the shop layout do am, because them no waste time, them just carry and go like person we have key." His landlord, Mr. Okore, was not moved. He had been patient for 2 months already, but patience has a limit. That evening, he came to the shop himself, folded eviction paper in hand. "Vincent, I'm sorry for waiting happened to you, but rent na rent. You owe me 3 months. If you no fit pay by next week, I go bring my boys come look this place." Vincent begged. He explained the robberies, the loan he was still owing the cooperative society. Mr. Okore only shook his head. "Everybody gets story. 7 days." He dropped the paper and walked out. That was not even the worst part of the day. Earlier that afternoon, Vincent had lost a big customer. A woman named Blessing had paid an advance deposit of 40,000 naira to prepare her salon setup for her daughter's traditional wedding. Full glam for the bride, the mother, and 6 bridesmaids. It was supposed to be his biggest job of the year, but his equipment was stolen the same week. Blessing came to the shop, saw the empty walls, and her face changed. She shouted, "You collect my money and you no get single mirror in here. I don't tell person say na mistake regem no trust you people again. Na so all of you they do. Collect deposit, disappear." Vincent tried to explain, but Blessing wasn't interested. She wanted her money back and he didn't have it. She left, threatening to tell everyone she knew in the town. By evening, several old customers had stopped answering his calls. His sister Chiamaka called that night. She needed her final semester fees urgently, or she wouldn't be allowed to sit for her final exams. "Brother, I'm sorry to disturb you," she said quietly, "but if I no pay by Monday, them go stop me from writing exam." Vincent told her she was working on it. He didn't tell her the shop had been emptied. He didn't tell her the eviction notice. He just told her to hold on small. After the call, he sat alone in the dark shop. The silence was heavy. He thought about everything he had worked for: the training, the loan he was still owing the cooperative society, his sister's future, the reputation he feared he had lost with Blessing. Everything felt like it was collapsing at once, and he couldn't understand why. "God, wetin I do?" he whispered into the empty room. He wanted to lock the door, go home and sleep, hoping he would wake up to something different. But something in him didn't want to move yet. He sat there, phone in his hand, scrolling without seeing anything, his mind heavy with shame and fear. Then, without thinking, his thumb touched a video. It was a praise video he had saved on his phone months ago during a better season, when a friend shared it in a WhatsApp group and he saved it for later and forgot about it completely. The video began to play on its own, loud in the quiet shop, a full choir singing with clapping and drums. Vincent almost turned it off. Dancing was the last thing on his mind. His body felt heavy, his chest felt tight, and singing felt like something people did when things were fine, not like this. But something held his thumb back from pressing stop. He let it play. At first, he just sat there listening to it, arms wrapped around his knees. The song kept going, verse after verse, and slowly, without planning it, he found his foot tapping the floor. He didn't feel like dancing, but he stood up anyway. His body moved stiffly at first, like something forced, like an engine that had not started in a long time. He didn't feel any different yet, but he raised his hands anyway. He kept moving.
Minutes passed. Something inside him began to shift. Not because his problems had disappeared, but because for the first time in weeks, his mind wasn't only on the eviction notice, or Blessing's shouting, or his sister's school fees. He was simply moving his body in an empty shop, alone, praising God he could not see, for reasons he could not explain to himself. By the time the song ended, tears were running down his face, but they felt different from the tears earlier that evening. He sat back down on the floor, breathing heavily, and for the first time in a long time, he felt something close to peace. He didn't know it yet, but that night would mark the turning point of his life. The next morning, Vincent woke up to a call. When he saw the name on the screen, he almost didn't recognize it at first. Barrister Uzondu. The same customer who had once told him that skill and character were not the same thing. "Good morning, Vincent," the barrister said. "I hope I'm not calling too early." Vincent sat up immediately. "Good morning, sir. No problem." "I heard about what happened to your shop," Barrister Uzondu continued. "One of my staff members mentioned it when we were discussing a project we have coming up." Vincent was quiet. The barrister explained that his law firm was opening a new branch and needed someone to design and set up a small grooming lounge inside the new office building for staff and visiting clients. Vincent almost declined. He had no equipment left to show any sample of his work, but something told him to be honest instead of hiding. "Sir, I go tell you the truth," Vincent said. "Right now, I no get equipment. Armed robbers don't carry everything from my shop 3 times this year, but I get the skill and the experience if you fit give me small chance." There was silence on the phone. Then Barrister Uzondu spoke. "Vincent, I remember the first day I met you. I could tell you were serious about your work. And I remember what I told you that day. You never know who will recommend you one day." Vincent swallowed hard. I've also spoken to someone who knows your work, a woman who used to be one of your regular customers. She told me about a time she accidentally overpaid you for a service, and instead of keeping the extra money, you called her and returned it. Vincent looked down, trying to remember. She said that's the kind of person you are, Barrister Uzondu continued. And when I heard about what happened to your shop, I remembered what I told you that first day. Skill is important, but character is what people remember. Vincent lowered his eyes. That's important to me, Barrister Uzondu said. Come to my office tomorrow. Let's talk. Vincent went the next day expecting maybe a small consultation job. Instead, Barrister Uzondu offered him a contract to fully design, stock, and manage the new grooming lounge with startup funding provided by the firm itself, since Vincent would be managing it as a partnership, not just an employee. The amount they offered him for the first phase alone was more than double what he needed to clear his rent debt. Vincent could not believe it. "Sir, why me?" he finally asked. "I don't even get anything to show you again." Barrister Uzondu smiled. "Because I already know you can walk. What I needed to know was whether I could trust you." He paused. "Vincent, skill can make you money. Character can make people willing to open doors for you." Vincent lowered his head, overwhelmed. "I'm investing in good character, not just skill," Barrister Uzondu said. Vincent took part of the money straight to Mr. Okore. It still wasn't the full 3 months he owed, but it was something. To his surprise, Mr. Okore, who had shown no mercy days earlier, looked at the money, looked at Vincent's face, and sighed. "Forget the rest," Mr. Okore said quietly. "Just make sure say you no disappoint me again." Vincent almost didn't recognize this softer version of the man who had dropped an eviction notice on his floor just days before. Weeks passed. The new grooming lounge opened successfully inside the law firm, and clients loved it. Vincent used part of his new income to quietly refund Blessing's deposit in full, along with an apology. She was stunned into silence, then finally said, "Thank you. Most people in your position no go even try." He paid his sister Chamaka's school fees before her deadline, with 2 days to spare. She cried on the phone when he told her. One afternoon, months later, as Vincent sat in his new lounge going through the accounts, an idea dropped into his mind. Simple, almost too simple. Instead of only offering grooming services, he could train other young men in the town who had no capital, giving them a percentage of what they earn in his growing chain of lounges, while he supplied the equipment and structure. It felt obvious once he thought about it, yet nobody around him had been doing it that way. Within a year, Vincent had opened 2 more lounges across Ijoke, training over a dozen young men who had nothing when they came to him, the same way he had nothing that night on his bare-tiled floor. He never forgot that night. He kept the same phone, the same praise video saved on it, though now the screen was cracked from age. Sometimes when new clients asked how he built everything from an empty, rubbed-out shop, he would simply smile and say, "I danced my way out of it. Long story." But it wasn't really long at all. It was simple. On the night everything was taken from him, he gave the one thing he had left, his praise, and it became the door through which everything else walked back in. Vincent didn't become trustworthy because he became successful. He became successful because he remained trustworthy when nobody was watching. Sometimes the character you maintain when nobody is watching becomes the very thing that opens the door to your next breakthrough. So, what do you think? Was it Vincent's praise that changed his life? Or was it Barrister Uzondu's reference call that opened the door? Drop your take in the comments. If this story touched you, please like and subscribe to the blessed space of tales. Share it with someone who needs this reminder today. And remember, never underestimate the value of good character, especially when nobody is watching.